All right, y'all, we are back with another video. And before we start, please put prayers for Donald Trump in the comment section. And it brings me to this video right here. It's this right here. I can tell how this interview right here is finna go. Because when I first clicked on this video, when I seen this about RFK Jr., his sister goes on ABC News pretty much trying to disown her brother. She's mad because RFK Jr. endorsed Donald Trump. And the first comment that I see up in the comment section, somebody said that Kerry Kennedy, which is RFK Jr.'s sister, Kerry Kennedy is a terrible sister to disown her brother because of politics. Donald J. Trump is a much better candidate than the Democratic candidates. Kerry Kennedy has her comments all wrong. That's what happens when you believe the fake news. And that right there is exactly right. So instead of talking to your brother behind the scenes about how you feel, she decided to come on an interview in front of everybody, the whole world, pretty much trying to disown your brother. She's attacking him. I mean, some of the craziest stuff that she finna go ahead and say in this video. Now, I wanted to check this video out because I want to see everything that she said. So if y'all can please do me a favor, please watch the entire video with me because I'm about to break all of this down. Because normally when I do these type of videos, I know a lot of you be like, Adogg, I can't stay to the end. But just do me the favor for this video. Please watch the entire video because I'm about to break all of this down. We're finna expose all of these lies. So please stay to the end. I know it might be hard, but just please do me this favor and just watch the entire video with me. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. And without further ado, let's listen to the stuff that she's saying about her own brother. Let's go.
RFK Jr.'s withdrawal from the race as former President Trump and Vice President Harris sprint towards Election Day. Who better to talk about this than Kerry Kennedy? She's a human rights activist and attorney and president of the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Organization, named after her father, and of course, RFK Jr.'s sister. Kerry, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time on this Friday. I want to get your initial reaction to your brother's decision today to drop out of the race and to formally endorse Trump. As you heard Selena say, the statement we heard, you called this a betrayal.
Yeah, first of all, the stakes in November couldn't be higher, which is exactly why almost my whole family is fighting so hard to reelect Kamala Harris and Coach Waltz, and who have been champions of the values that my family has fought for years. And Donald,
I never stopped the video this era. You said they are champions? Kamala Harris are champions. Her and Tim Waltz, the man that want to put tampons in boys' bathrooms. The man that let Minneapolis burn down. Kamala Harris, who been in office 3.5 years and ain't done jack nothing for this country.
Donald Trump is the polar opposite. Were he alive today, I think the real Robert Kennedy would have detested almost everything Donald Trump represents. His lying, his selfishness, his rage, his cynicism, his hatred, his racism, his fascist sympathies, deliberate misinformation about vaccines, criminal felony convictions, his contempt for the poor and the suffering in America and around the world. And so I just am outraged and disgusted by my brother's actions. I think it's a gaudy and obscene embrace of Donald Trump. I love Bobby. I abhor what he did.
Kerry, have you spoken with your brother today or in the past couple of days as this news has emerged? And do you think that he really wants this? Does he want a position in Trump's cabinet? Does he really want the former president to win?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I think if you watched him today, if you've heard what he says, it's very confusing. And I don't think that if Donald Trump promised him the moon today, that would Donald Trump deliver that? There's no saying, because what he says he'll do and what he actually does are two different things. Now, that said, he is, he's a threat to the most basic rights and freedoms that are core to being American. The right for women to control their own bodies, to live in communities safe from gun violence, which has impacted our family. To love who you love, which has impacted our family. He said he'll be a dictator on day one, and he's willing to suspend the Constitution of the United States in order to take revenge against those who do not support him. And he's threatening to and planning to repeal the Affordable Care Act, cut Social Security and Medicare, leave millions without the programs they rely on. I don't think there's any position in the world that's worth any of that.
So just like that comment said, that is what happened when you believe everything you hear on TV, a bunch of freaking lies. It's for somebody to say, I love my brother, you can't expect just because somebody's your sibling that they supposed to do everything you do. They supposed to think the way you think. Everybody has their own separate brain. They're not gonna feel the way you feel. If you like a Mustang, I might like a Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to like the same thing that you like. I don't have to think the same way that you think. Now you sitting up here on TV, all this stuff that you saying, if you had a problem with it, you could have talked to Bobby behind the scenes. Why get on here and pretty much try to expose your brother? And if you look at RFK Jr., he really just took the highway. He like snapped back at her or say anything like that. If he did, it's behind the scenes if he had a problem with what she said. But why come on here and talking about, he pretty much betrayed the family, you upset, then you bringing up all these lies about Donald Trump. You can tell she been listening to ABC. Look what channel she's on. She been on ABC, CNN, MSNBC. They always spewing all the wrong stuff about Donald Trump, and she's sitting up here repeating everything that they say. I mean, it just don't make any sense at all. Talking about you love him, but yet you get on here and bash him in front of everybody because he want to think for himself. If you had a problem with it, why don't you have a problem with the Democrats that is suing him? Why haven't you mentioned anything about that? Do you know that the Democrats right now is suing this man? Don't you know the Democrats didn't even want him on the ballot? He more than likely would have beat Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They don't even want him on there. So why you ain't talking about the Democrats of what they doing to your brother? See, she ain't gonna mention any of that. The Democrats was the one that turned their back on your brother. Donald Trump didn't turn his back on RFK. He didn't turn his back on him like the Democrats did, but she ain't gonna talk about that. She want to talk about that because she just don't like Donald Trump and she don't want him liking Donald Trump. This just don't make any sense at all.
So safe to say you have not spoken to him today or about this specific endorsement that we heard just a few hours ago.
Bobby knows exactly how I feel about it, and he's chosen his path.
Okay, you talk so much about what's at stake in this election. Are you worried that your brother has been polling around 4% in our 538 polling average, that his supporters will go with former President Trump? And at this point, does it hurt or help that he is still on the ballot in some states? How do you view the fact that he has kind of stuck with that campaign to stay on the ballot, even with this pulling out today?
You should ask somebody who's professional in this realm. My understanding is that almost all of his supporters are people who will vote for another third-party candidate or who don't vote at all. I think the helpful thing about this is that there's going to be no confusion of people voting for Donald Trump, who Bobby has endorsed, because the Kennedy is saying to do so. Because anybody who loves our family, who respects the work on civil rights, on civil liberties, on access to funds for the middle class, for working class people, know that Donald Trump is their enemy. And
Donald Trump is not the enemy. Where do you get all? I ain't even gonna ask you where do you get all this information from, because obviously we know where you get it from. This right here just don't make any sense at all to me. I mean, just listen to these lies. You might well be working for CNN them, because you saying the same thing that they say about Donald Trump every single day. He's a threat to democracy. He's a racist. He's this. He's that. She pretty much repeating everything she hear on TV, even when the woman just asked her a question. Oh, well, I don't know too much about that. You're going to have to ask a professional. When she said that, That let me know that she don't really know what she's talking about. It just go to tell you that she's been watching CNN, MSNBC, ABC. She's been watching all of these networks, and that right there is where she getting all her information in on about Donald Trump. Knowing them networks do not like Donald Trump. I mean, this right here, you talking about trying to disown your brother, like this is crazy. Cause he got a mind of his own. And cause he ain't thinking the way you think, then you just gonna go on a full-blown attack and giving ABC and everybody sound bites of you going off on your own brother.
Never, ever, ever vote for Donald Trump just because Bobby said so.
Should we expect to see you, other members of your family, out on the campaign trail now with the Vice President Harris? Do you expect to increase those efforts based on this news today? We know you were out on the stage with Biden, just President Biden, a couple months back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, I'll do whatever is needed for the campaign. If they like my help, I'm here for them.
See, now you heard what she said. She said, if they like my help, I'm here for them. But yet, why isn't she talking about how Kamala Harris did not even want to talk to your brother? You do know that, don't you? You do know that Kamala Harris, your brother reached out to Kamala Harris and she said she didn't want to talk to him on the phone and she did not want to see him in person. But yet you're still trying to defend Kamala Harris. Well, if they need me on the campaign, I go. If they call me, I'm coming. But look how they treating your brother. And you have nothing to say about that. That go to show you that you don't really care about RFK. You don't really care about your brother. Because if you did, the way you trying to go off on him now, why you ain't going off on Kamala Harris for not even wanting to talk to him? He tried to reach out to him about trying to help him. And she turned him down. She didn't want nothing to do with him. Democrats are the ones suing him. That's why he had to run independently. And you're still taking Kamala Harris' side instead of your brothers. Just don't make any sense at all. Y'all just please answer that for me. If Kamala Harris is treating your brother like this, he pretty much getting sued. He had to run independently. Democrats want nothing to do with him. He pretty much said that they wanted nothing to do with him. And you're taking their side over your brothers. But you got all of this to say about Donald Trump. That's the first thing they run with. When they ain't got nothing to talk about with Donald Trump, they start spewing out lies, connecting him to this Project 2025 crap that he said that has nothing to do with him. This is what they do. And you can tell she has been brainwashed. She's listening to everything these networks been saying about Donald Trump, and she just running with it. Because if that was the case, I don't think RFK Jr. would have endorsed Donald Trump. He know it's a lie. And that's what the Democrats are doing. If you watch their 4-day, they DNC for 4 days, they mentioned Donald Trump more than they mentioned anybody else. The man was mentioned over 200, almost 300 times. No policies put out by them, nothing, just attacking Donald Trump. This just don't make no sense.
And I just want to get really quickly, Kerry, while I have you, give us your sense of if you think this campaign itself, now that it's over, has that tarnished your dad's legacy? Has it tarnished the work that you have done in your current role when it comes to civil rights and those other issues?
I think that's a good point. I think it does. And I think it has in many ways because people get confused between Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy Sr. So a lot of, understandably, people get confused by that. Domestically, people, our partners around the world get confused between the two, understandably. And especially because the campaign itself has sought so desperately to tie itself to the legacy of Daddy and Uncle Jack. I think that there's been confusion, and that's also part of the reason that, everything I've said in my personal capacity. But now, as the president of Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights, a human rights organization started by my father's family and friends to carry forward its unfinished work on social justice, it is very, very important for everyone to understand that we have nothing to do with Bobby Kennedy Jr. at all. We're an independent.
So you say you have nothing to do. You pretty much didn't disown him. Y'all listen to this. Just because the man endorsed Donald Trump, listen to this right here.
There's family and friends to carry forward his unfinished work on social justice. It is very, very important for everyone to understand that we have nothing to do with Bobby Kennedy Jr. at all. We're an independent 501c3 organization fighting for people's rights.
Making that distinction very clear. Kerry Kennedy, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining.
This right here just don't make any sense. So if you did make it to the end, I really, really appreciate it. I know it was hard to sit through to listen to the lies and stuff, but I wanted y'all to sit through this because I wanted to call out every single lie I heard, which I didn't. If I would have called out every single lie I heard, the video would probably be 50 minutes because every straight line that she said was a freaking lie. Just don't make any sense at all. Disowning your brother. She pretty much saying we don't want anything to do with him. He endorsed Trump. Let him stay over there. I haven't talked to him or anything. So instead of talking to her brother and telling him how she feel, why go up on this show and talk about him? She could have explained all that. She could have turned this interview down and said, I'm not going to get on here and bash my brother. I can just talk to him behind the scenes on how I feel about it. But getting on here and disown them in front of everybody, now you got everybody posting that RFK Jr. family don't want nothing to do with him after he endorsed Trump, just trying to put out some negative energy into the air was exactly what she was doing. It just don't make any sense. Like I said before, you can tell she just repeating everything that she hear the fake news say. That's exactly what she is doing. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.